Welcome to Season 3 of The Business Gist, where we're always talking about the human side of the bottom line. In this season, we're talking to business owners on how they're navigating the worldwide pandemic, what they're doing to pivot, and how they're making tough choices between people and profit.
On this episode of The Business Gist, we are speaking with the CEO of Calabrio, Tom Goodmanson.
Tom, thank you so much for joining me today on the Business Gist podcast. To start off, can you just share who you are and who your company is and what you guys do?
Sure. Thanks, Megan. I'm Tom Goodmanson, CEO of Calabrio. We are a software company that serves contact centers, and the particular software we have is customer experience intelligence. Simply put, we record a lot of calls, chats, emails, all of that stuff that goes into the contact center, and process that to help people understand their customers and their employees better. And report on what's going on inside customer service.
So for a lot of your customers, then the world has just had to have flipped upside down. Are you seeing a lot of trends or anything going on?
Yeah, we're seeing, this. I think the trends that a lot of people see, but we see it at a pretty macro level. We're a global company, and so we're seeing it across the world. And we have all the way from leisure and entertainment, which has been hard hit, to a lot of financial institutions that are just doubling down because there's a lot going on between PPP and consumer needs and low interest rates, and then everything in between, healthcare, shipping, you name it. So we're seeing we have a pretty good insight into what's going on around the world right now.
So when you normally think about a contact center, you think about a bunch of people with headsets sitting right next to each other, a lot of chatter in the background. How have you guys had to pivot with everything going on?
Yeah, that's been really key. That's a good question. We've had to, our customers have had to pivot more than we have. We have our software is SaaS, multi-tenanted, and so it really enables people to work wherever, whenever. And our customers, though, some do have a lot of remote employees. Now they have almost all remote employees. And so you don't have those big rooms, or if you do, you have to send half the people home. And so we really were involved with some of our biggest customers, getting them home. There was one 10,000 agents that got home in 2 days.
Wow.
And there was a lot of technical needs to be able to do that on our side. So it's been really interesting and fun to help our customers. This isn't a fun time, obviously, but to see all of our work over the years of what we've tried to build come to fruition has been pretty cool.
Now, do you have your own call centers, or are you just purely software?
We obviously, we have 6,800 customers around the world, and so we have to take care of them as well. Our software, they'll have questions regarding that and concerns. So we do have call centers, not nearly the size of some of our customers. We have probably 250 agents here, Vancouver, Denver, London, and in Stockholm.
So how have you, as the leader of your company, had to think about all of those different geographies and what's going on at different times in the world?
There's a couple of different ways. One is paying attention with my local leaders there of what's going on, how they, I think everybody's seen Stockholm and Sweden generally are treating this much different than a lot of the other regions in the world. And so understanding all of those from my chair is really important, and kind of understanding and driving with them how we're going to deal with this.
What's the biggest lesson you think you've learned so far?
Oh man, there's been so many. Probably the biggest lesson is communication. I'm, going back to the offices. I travel constantly. I'm on the road over 50% of the time, going to the offices and seeing these people. And so being able to, and that's been my touch and feel of our employees, of our customers. And we have a motto of we always show up. Well, showing up is different today. And so the biggest lesson that I've learned is you still have to show up and you have to communicate. And when you think that you've communicated enough, do it some more. And we have really doubled and tripled down on our driving communications, whether it be through Teams, WebEx, just like we're doing right now on Zoom. Just being out there and making sure that you're available, but also being transparent.
I noticed on your LinkedIn profile that it started back in 2008, so right in the middle of the financial crisis. How has that differed from what you're experiencing right now?
It's different in a couple different ways. One is we were a $2 million company then. And so, approaching $200 million company, obviously we've got a few more employees, we've got a few more things going on. But obviously, this is, I think, the fourth recession or something going on in my career since I left college. And so the business aspect of it is much like a recession, making sure that you're taking care. But the thing that's been the same always is taking care of customers. But that it kind of ends there, because in the last recession and the one before that, you could still go out and talk to customers. You could still go talk to your employees, and so that is much different. But I would say that there has been some learnings from those recessions into this.
Good. So, a lot of businesses obviously are in business to make a profit. Right now, things are really hard, right? We're seeing all these people going on unemployment, businesses shutting down. How are you approaching decisions around people versus profit?
We're being really cautious on both sides. We're really we went out with a motto. I love having mottos and mantras, because it helps everybody rally around in a simple point. And so as we were going home in March to work, I said the number one thing for this company is the health and safety of our employees, while looking after the economic safety of Calabrio. And I think we've struck a decent balance. We actually, because of the work that we do, we have great customers around the world, and we've taken care of them, and they've taken care of us. And so we've been able to not only retain all of our employees today, but we've actually added 35 people since the beginning of this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been great, but we have a lot of work to do, and so we're making sure that we're taking good care of our employees, and also but taking and they've rallied around this. We have the best. We have 670 people around the world, and we just have the best employees around. They have rallied around the idea of taking care of Calabrio just the way Calabrio has taken care of them, and I'm really proud of that.
That's amazing. Well, that's definitely a silver lining in itself. Are there any other silver linings that you're seeing?
The silver lining, when you think about, we had done an acquisition of about 220 people with most of the people in Stockholm last summer, and we've gotten to know each other well, and I think we've communicated well. We did have the opportunity last October to bring all of our worldwide employees to Minneapolis for a week, and we had kind of a global conference, and so we did get to know each other a little better. But if I think about the way people are communicating through Teams, through Zoom, through WebEx, you name them, the silver lining has been these relationships. And let's face it, we all rally through something like this. We'd prefer not to be doing it through a pandemic where it's, people are at serious health risk. But I will tell you that people care. They see their kids sitting on their laps. They see I sat on a CEO roundtable a couple of weeks ago, and we all kind of nodded in agreement when one of the guys said, if you would have told me 2 years ago that I'd be okay with kids popping up in the background and pets when I'm on one of these, I'd tell you were crazy. And today it's just normal cause. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, my dog actually is sitting at my feet right now. So
that's outstanding.
Oh, good. Well, are there any kind of predictions that you have for the future as you're looking at things and seeing how things are transpiring across the world?
I don't have any predictions other than we're going to have to work hard to get out of this together. I love predicting things. I love economics. And it was fun the first couple of weeks. Now we have to work really hard. And so the best prediction I've been able to make is with my team is building every model under the sun. What I told them when we started building the models was, let's build it. If you remember back in the 90s, the CD-ROM books that you could
Yep.
have multiple endings.
Yeah.
We're trying to build all the endings that could possibly happen, and then know where to go off on the tangent and just apply what we're doing there. I think we've done a good job of building multiple streams of what could happen. And then as good math guys and coders, if then is the most important thing we can possibly know how to do.
That's really smart. I mean, that's going to allow you to be nimble and continue to stay ahead of the game then. What?
Thanks. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll at least know, right? Like you'll have some
Right.
plans built. Because that's the thing that is so wild about this time. It's just constantly changing. You know, when it first was happening, it was by the hour and then by the day, but we're still just seeing, we're under our stay-at-home order right now till the 18th, but who knows what's going to happen between now and then, right? Or after.
Well, that's right. And then having, like the office that I always point to when we talk about this stay-at-home office is my Singapore office. They actually went back to work, and after 2 weeks had to go home again. And not only did that it took a toll business-wise. They had to now go take everything home.
Yeah.
But I was on a happy hour with them. We have happy hours throughout the world. My day starts at about 3 a.m. for that stuff. On every Friday, my day starts at 3 a.m. and goes right through the evening. But on that, there was a real mental toll there too. One that I'm not, if you believe some of the things out there, is this could happen again in the fall. And if we do react to it this way, we all know how to go home now. What are we going to do from a mental health standpoint? Because I don't think it's going to be quite as fun. The novelty is worn off.
Right. Right. Well, and I think it takes away hope, right? Because it's like you can do this for a period of time. People, I think we've seen have really done well, but I think right now we're at that point where people are like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. But the majority of my business is in the Northern Hemisphere. The one piece that I've taken away from this is,
Yeah.
as the days have gotten longer and the world warmer,
Yeah.
people have been able to get energized. We declared an International Calabrio Day 2 Mondays ago, just because everybody needed a break. We shut the business down, and everybody enjoyed the sunshine, and it was amazing what it did for people's attitude.
That's awesome. Yeah, just being able to get outside and get that fresh air is definitely helpful. So I'm really curious with your Singapore office going back and then having to leave again. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned that you're going to apply to your business for the rest of your locations?
It's just making sure, we're in a smaller footprint there versus like a Stockholm or here, but just how much planning has to go into it, right? Is just the act of going back. Who goes back first? When do they go back? Just because the governor or whoever the authoritative body is says go back to work, it doesn't mean you should, right? And so that's been a lesson. Because if we had just kept everybody home for a couple of weeks, they wouldn't have known any different, right?
Right.
And then all the way to the safety, the cleaning, and all of that. We've got a lot of work to do. I think we've been planning for this since week one to come back, just waiting to do it. But it's thoughts have evolved. There's been a lot of great writing out there, and a lot of great input from employees.
Wonderful. How about advice for other business leaders? What would you want to share with them?
It goes back to my number one learning. I'd share with them, communicate, and not just internally, but to all your stakeholders. Our customers, the first thing I did was sent a letter to our 6,800 customers saying, we're here for you. You already own the software to help you through this. Let us help you. And it's just blown up our webinars. It's been a great marketing tool, not to sell anything, but to have them using the software. And I love if we've built this software over the last 15 years, it's nice to have it used. I think that's a key piece. And then communicating internally, obviously, is as often as you possibly can, in order for them to understand where they stand and what's going on. And then, if in our case, KKR is our PE that owns the company, and making sure they're fully aware and understand. And so that way, everybody around you has their expectations set, and try to minimize disappointment, try to minimize worry. Absent information, people worry. They go to the worst place, and so keep them up above that worst place. And I think it really is useful.
The one last question I want to ask
Yeah.
you is, I saw in one of the videos that you had shared on your LinkedIn profile, really talking about when you go back, don't go back to the old normal. And we
Mm-hmm.
talk a lot about new normals. What's that look like for you?
It really means that embrace. I talked, a couple of minutes ago, we talked about the idea of how well we're working across boundaries, whether it be office boundaries, department boundaries. Keep that up. All the good things. If you notice good things happening, good communication techniques, good work. We came up with 6 new products the first week we were out. And have delivered on those, and we came up with another 4 new partnerships and ways to help our customers. So don't stop that. We've always been an innovative company, but when something like this happens, go innovate, go drive, and let's not forget how we did that. Let's take the time to innovate and drive.
That's amazing that you're coming up with so many new products in such a short period of time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you. I'm so excited to hear that not only have you been able to keep your employees, but you've been able to add that you're helping out customers around the world, and that you are really just being forward thinking and thinking about what are all those different scenarios. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that we stay in touch.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Calabrio, you can visit their site at calabrio.com. That's CALABRIO.com. Or if you'd like to connect, you can also find Tom on LinkedIn.
Thank you for joining us today on The Business Gist. Make sure to follow us at thebusinessgist.com.